Good morning and welcome to Coffee and Cookies. My name is Lindsay and today's show is sponsored by Social Media Torch. Get all of your digital marketing needs met, and if you don't know what your needs are, you should have a consult with my co-host Nick, who's going to introduce himself in right now.
Right now. That was good. Yeah. As I'm clicking around, thank you for giving me that little heads up. Need to go ahead and change that camera angle. Be like, oh, here we go, everyone. So good morning, everyone. It's Monday, TGIM. Oh my goodness. Today is going to be a great day. I woke up, I walked outside. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. It was a little cloudy, but the wind was just perfect and it wasn't freezing anymore like it was last week.
So you want to hear a funny story?
Yes. I want to hear a funny story. Go. Funny story, go.
So I looked at my weather app.
And you thought it lied to you?
Well, no. Okay, so I'm from Michigan, right? And I have... Anyway, yeah. So I looked at my app and I'm like, I have 40. It's supposed to snow tomorrow. And because I just scrolled down to like where it tells me the week. And I scrolled back up and I'm like, is this right? And it said a city in Michigan that I keep tabs on because that's where my family lives. So I'm like, oh, well,
you know, maybe 40 degrees.
Right. So
I thought we were over
to
this.
The right city. I did. I was like, well, I guess we're having one more week of winter.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm over winter. I'm totally over winter.
Yes.
Yep. Over it.
This is technically the last week because the 20th is the first day of spring.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
There we go.
How do people decide that? Really? Like,
I don't know.
We're going to decide that this day is going to be the first day of spring or this day is going to be.
Hey, it's spring break. Okay, so your kids have spring break. For us, our kids just got off spring break.
Yes. Isn't that crazy? Do you know why they do that?
Why they rotate?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the destinations don't get overwhelmed with all the kids all at one time.
Michigan's spring break isn't until the end of March, beginning of April.
Again, they rotate it so the destinations don't get overwhelmed all at one time. It's like a completely capitalist thing.
A spring break season.
Right.
For the southern countries.
Hey, it's great for the economy. Good morning, Ryan. Glad you joined us this morning, brother. Hey, did you know that Chance recently had a birthday? Happy birthday, Chance. I know.
Happy belated birthday.
Happy belated birthday, Chance, my man. So, yeah.
Are we doing that for all our viewers now, giving them birthday shout-outs?
We should. We should. You want to know what? I love that idea.
Have to be friends with all of our viewers.
I love that idea. I love this idea. Birthday shout-outs. I love this idea. I just added it to my list.
We've been watching Friends.
I love Friends.
And it makes me think of anytime we talk about spring break when Ross is dating that college student and they talk about, do you not know that episode? He's a professor and he starts dating one of his students and she goes on spring break and it's spring break. Whoop, whoop.
Wow.
It makes me laugh.
No, I did not. I did not know that. So, hey, you guys, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link to the Coffee Cookies morning show because eventually we're not going to be doing this on my personal profile anymore. So please go like the show and that way you get notified when we go live over there because that's where we're going to be. Hey, morning, Sean. Do we get coffee and cookies with our birthdays? You want to know what? I actually got an interesting question. Are you ready? Sean, you may like this. And if we do this, we're going to have like a taste test first. What?
I need to get a tissue.
Oh, all right. Well, then I'll just make the focus on me.
Yeah, would you do that?
Making the focus all about me. I'll do this. Yes,
Which
I
is
will.
Normal,
absolutely. So, I actually got the question, Lindsay. You'll love this. Hey, are you guys ever going to come out with your own roast? And I was like, that is a really good idea. Why don't we come out with our own roast? And Sean, maybe you need to participate in that taste testing. What do you think about that, my man?
Is it going to be a light or a dark roast?
I'm thinking we're going to do one of each. Well, just two roast. Just two roast. But one light, so it's like super caffeine. And one is dark, probably more like an espresso. Probably have to have a third one, some kind of chocolate.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll have more than one. But
you can split the screens again.
Okay. All right. You're back. Are you sure you want to be back?
Yeah.
So, it got me thinking, like, hey, like that's a really good idea, is to have our own coffee roast. Like, hey, come join us at Coffee and go to Denny's, get a free Grand Slam. Oh, there you go. Right?
There's actually several places that you can go and get free stuff on your birthday.
Are you going to list them all?
I don't know them all, but I know that you used to be able to go to Subway and get a free sub.
I'd rather go to Denny's.
Okay. We could go to Denny's for breakfast and then
Subway for lunch.
Yeah, in my college town, I didn't have to pay for any meals like all week.
All week. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you didn't have a birthday, you had a birth week. You had a birth week. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so Lindsay, so we need to talk about, like, are we going to come out with our own roast? And when we do this, oh my goodness, I'm looking the wrong way. Bad Nick. Bad. There we go. And I'm looking at the screen. I was like, oh, I'm ignoring Lindsay today.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
We all get in our zones, right?
Right? There we go. I fixed it.
Speaking of caffeine.
Oh gosh, you really going to tell the audience this?
Yeah.
Like, people, you're going to make people stop drinking coffee.
No. I'm back at it.
I'm back at it. I tried to give it up, but I couldn't. Oh.
No. So
coffee, the number one legal drug in America.
It is. Seriously.
The world.
Crazy.
Right.
You know what caffeine does to your brain?
What does it do to your brain?
It actually constricts your blood vessels in your brain.
Uh-huh.
And when you stop drinking it, that's why you get headaches, because it's like a flood of blood to your brain. And your brain is like, whoa, I can't do it with all this blood in my brain.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm apologizing for Lindsay right now. Just going to apologize for her. Okay, then that makes no sense. It constricts the blood vessels to your brain, but somehow you can think better, you can focus better, all the brain stuff gets better, but you're saying it's constricting the blood to the brain.
Yeah, that's what I read. Because I had a splitting headache on Saturday because I didn't have any caffeine, and I had a splitting headache on Sunday.
Are you on the Coffee and Cookies show? Because
monkeys are involved.
I love the coffees. Cafe Du Monde, Death Wish, Texas Pecan. Ooh, a Texas Pecan. Coffee and Cookies Texas Pecan blend. Ooh, oh my goodness. And then a Death Wish, like, it's super dark. Cafe Du Monde, perfect for your cappuccinos.
Those are already his favorites. Somebody already makes those.
I know, but it needs to have our branding on it. And Sean could be a spokesperson.
You know, we could totally make better names than that.
Have you had Texas Pecan? Stuff is awesome.
Yeah.
Psh. Ditch on the Texas of the pecans.
What if we could make it better?
Oh goodness, here we go. What are you thinking? What if we get? There's roasteries, places that roast coffee beans.
It's not a brewery because that's
right. It's not a brewery.
It's a roastery.
Roastery. I'm making up words today. When we buy our building, we should actually just make our own coffee fields and make our own coffee beans. Like, I can see this being a whole fun company. Why not have another one? Why not, Nick? Like, seriously, it's the story of my life.
Let me see your business plan.
There we go. Hold on. This could be better. Flavor's just as yummy. Ooh, you might want to copy that. Here we go. Ready? Coffee and Cookies Morning Show Coffee. The names could be better, but the flavor is just as yummy.
What a nice tagline.
I love it. Amber, are you sure you're not in marketing? You're hanging around me way too much. Yeah, I'm actually going to copy this. It's so good. I'm going to copy this and put it into my PowerPoint.
Oh, man.
That was good. That's so good. There we go. Put this over here. Do a little that. All right. So Lindsay, why restrict? Right. Those are the questions. All right. We're going to move on. We're going to move on for the coffee thing. Lindsay, how was service? Did you have any good takeaways?
I actually was serving in the cafe all service. So
yeah,
I didn't.
I woke up Sunday morning and I did not want to go to church. Mm-hmm. And Amber was like, "We're going to church."
Good job, Amber.
And I was like, I don't want to go to church. She's like, we're going to church. So let's behold, we went to church. And I'm so glad that Amber was she was so calm about it. She was so kind about it. She was just like, nope, we're going to go. And here's so the time change.
So what was your deal?
The time change threw me off and I stayed up real late. I just stayed up late. I just did, right?
It wasn't the time change. It was the staying up of
It was a combination of. It was a combination of. It was. I thought it was 7, 8 o'clock, and I look over and it said 9 o'clock, and I'm like, wait a second, what just happened? I thought time change happened the weekend of spring, so next weekend. I didn't realize it was this weekend. Completely threw me off.
No, they want to confuse you.
I know. Hey, guess what? It's the 21st century. We really don't need time change anymore. Just FYI.
Technology's really taken away the need for it.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was one of those things where, you don't want to go, but you're going to do it anyway. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, that service was just like, yeah.
Slapping you in the face.
Yes. Yes.
So,
like,
Nick, what were your takeaways?
Like, it was one of those things where, like, we were sitting there and I was like, so one, we didn't have our normal seats. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we sat somewhere else and, I was pretty stoic. Like, I didn't want to be in the room. I didn't. And sure enough, God was like, you showed up. Let me show you why you showed up. And sure enough, people started coming up to me. We started having conversations. And Vic actually prayed over me.
Oh, I love Vic. Thanks for watching. He's probably watching now.
And
he stopped by and gave me a hug.
Yeah,
Him and his wife.
Right?
It's awesome.
Love that guy. And he just started just speaking some different things over me. And it was just like, oh, this is why I have to be here. Mm-hmm. And then it was me speaking positive over someone else and helping them through. It's just, like, you have to get in the room. Even when you don't want to get in the room, you have to get in the room. Pastor Keith's message talking about, hold on, glorious. Pastor Josh went on this glorious thing to get it started. He was just like, glorious. And I was like, isn't that a song somewhere?
Yes.
Yes. But that was like the word of the sermon was glorious with Pastor Josh. And then it switched over to what's the devil's best weapon, which is negativity. Mm-hmm. And how do you defeat that? You defeat that with honor. And that's something that I'm not just having, like, I'm learning more about honor, but I'm learning more about and someone says is going to disagree with me, and you're allowed to disagree with me. Just understand you're wrong. Okay. It deals a lot with when you're not honorable, how that can become a curse in your life and not just your life, but your kids' lives. Yes, and if you do have a family curse, I'm more gentle with Chris. Yes, you are. You're definitely more gentle. I just tell people they're wrong. You're very nice, more nice about it.
I think you missed his.
Hey, there's Vic. Vic's over on my personal profile.
He said the real conversation. Amber, we're going to church. Nick, I don't want to. Amber, I don't remember asking that you wanted to.
I didn't read that. Thank you for sorry. But it was, where was I? But if you do have a generational curse on your family, the way to stop it, the way to put up that shield per se and stop that from continuing to move forward is to start honoring your parents. Mm-hmm. And if you know anything about my personal life right now, there are a couple parents in my life that I'm having a very hard time. I'm going to have to relearn how to honor them. It's challenging. Yeah. Now, just real quick, if you know Steve is not one of those individuals. Just so you know, because Steve does go to church with us. He does sit with us. If you see him with us, understand he's not one of those individuals. There's other people. Okay, so Vic, we love you, brother. So he's actually over on my personal profile commenting. I'm hopping back and forth between it, but it was now understanding that, and then what that led into was me going to my Bible study that evening, mm-hmm. and then having that conversation again, and going, oh my goodness, I'm wondering if not purposely dishonoring, right? But not understanding that it was not being honorable. Now it's defined, right? Before I was unconsciously incompetent. I didn't know what I didn't know. Mm-hmm. Now I know that some of my actions were not honorable. Okay. How do I stop that? And how do I stop that and move that forward? So not just honorable with my parents. I'm going to take that a step further. How am I being honorable with my kids? And honorable with my kids when I discipline them. So as you know, I do spank my kids. Whether there's a certain point where the spanking comes into play, okay? And parents, hear me on this. There's a certain point where the child has to understand that there's a physical repercussion for their actions. There has to be. They have to connect that. Okay. But now that my kids understand that they hit a certain point, there's a spanking involved. Now that I've set that expectation, I can now work my way back. So now, do I really spank my kids? No, we do push-ups. They do push-ups. Well, how can I be how can I be more honorable to my kids? I can start doing push-ups with them. So now it's not me telling you, hey, London, drop 10 push-ups. Why? You have a bad attitude right now. You're not going to speak to your mother that way. Drop. Now it's, London, I love you. You're not going to speak to your mother that way. Drop. I'm going to do push-ups with you. Let's knock out 10. Right? Because now it's not me just telling them to do something. Now I'm doing it with them. I'm not the boss telling them what to do. I'm the leader saying, let's do this together.
You're walking them through it.
I'm walking them through it.
You're walking with them.
I'm walking with them. I'm leading them.
Well, I think that's a great visual of what God does with us too. He doesn't just say, hey, you made this bad choice. Now you have to walk this crappy road. No, he's going to walk it with us. Mm-hmm. That's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. So you have to understand, like, honor in doing so. Maybe you're an adult and you have kids and you're working on honoring your parents. Mm-hmm. But how are you teaching your kids honor? Okay.
Well, I think a lot of people actually have a hard time understanding or knowing how to define honor.
Very good. So so that's something else that I'm working through is not, okay, so this is something that I've done wrong in the past. So I'm going to tell you this and then I want you, so one, don't judge me, but learn from this. Okay. When you're asking God to show you something or you're asking God to direct you, don't sit there on your hands. Okay. God, how am I supposed to honor my parents? How am I supposed to honor my parents? Teach me how I'm supposed to honor my parents. And then you sit there and you wait, hoping for this great big reveal. That's not how it works. God, how do I honor my parents? And then go and actually set up a place and a time to start working through how you're going to honor your parents. Okay. So I had this conversation with Amber and I had this conversation in my Bible study to make sure I was in the right mentality. Okay. I know I need to honor certain parents in my life. Mm-hmm. Okay. How am I going to do it? I'm going to write their name on a whiteboard. I'm going to say, God, please start directing my hand. Please start speaking through me. And we're going to write out a plan and how I'm going to honor my parents. Now, this accomplishes a couple different things. One, I'm not going, God, how am I supposed to do this? And sitting there waiting, right? Not being proactive, mm-hmm. being stuck. Two, now that I'm saying, God, use me as a conduit, guide my hand. Now as I start to develop this plan, I have his influence on the plan, but I'm also able to become and keep my hand in it. Okay. This is very important because I'm not just saying it's God telling me to do this. It's God's guiding me through this.
You're walking through it together. Just like the push-ups.
Just like the push-ups. And in doing so, that was really good. I didn't even put that together. Thank you for that.
That's why I'm here.
But here we go. But in doing that, I am now able to heal because I am going through the process. Mm-hmm. When you sit here and you ask God, I just make this happen.
Right.
But you don't go through the process, you don't get to heal. You don't get to, and so might disagree with me on this and understand you're wrong. You don't get to earn the blessing. Okay. Someone said this the other day. Nope, I'm not going to go down the road. I'm going to stay right here. Okay.
Yeah, stay here.
So when you do this, set time up for you to work through it. Don't just sit there and blanket ask God to just fix everything for you. God, what am I supposed to learn? Let's sit down and let's go through this together. Okay? You have to be involved. So that's the first thing you're going to get today. Or the third thing. The next thing, and I'm going to call someone out on this, and this hurts your feelings, then that means that this spoke to you, and you need to change. You need to change. Okay? Stop praying like it's a wish. I'm going to say it one more time. Stop praying like it's a wish, like God is this magical genie just making wishes happen. When you go to pray, you need to be intentional about your prayer, and then you need to be following that prayer up with action. It's so funny because, you know, you'll hop onto Facebook or you'll meet with someone and they're like, hey, I need you to pray for this now horrible situation that's in my life. And it's like, okay, yeah, sure, of course, I'll pray with you about this horrible situation. But hey, the last 6 years, did you create any kind of relationship between you and God? Did you have any kind of prayer? Or do you only come to prayer when you need something?
Right.
And now you're wanting, you know, God to show up like a genie in a bottle. Isn't that a song?
That is a song.
Oh my goodness, I'm on a song reference today. And, you know, like a genie bottle, just make everything better. Well, you want to know what? Maybe the prayer that you're asking for, maybe the wish that you're asking for isn't the desire of God. Like maybe what you're asking for is so out of whack with the direction that God's trying to take you in, but you don't realize it because you're not in constant communication with him. You're not even trying to have a relationship. You're just hoping, hey, he's a genie, poof, done. Now, hear me on this. I'm talking to myself here. I am completely guilty of this. Mm-hmm. Why? Because at some point in time, I was a brand new Christian. And even though I've grown up in church, okay, from 5-6 years old, even though I grew up in church, it wasn't until I got to Elevate that I actually started to mature in my walk with Christ. And that's the difference. Not only am I surrounded by great pastors, leadership pastors, but I'm also surrounded by great men and great couples and great women that are all moving in the same direction. We're all trying to make ourselves better individuals. We're all trying to have ourselves have a better relationship with God, and we're all wanting everyone to win. Okay? It is, and I cannot stress this enough. You know, I have to really thank Travis Hitt for inviting Tommy, my brother, to the church. Because with Travis Hitt now, Tommy went to that church, then I went to the church, and now Nolan's at the church. And here we go. You ready for this? Nolan's up on stage using his gift, playing the saxophone, using his voice. That man has an amazing voice, and becoming a leader. That none of that would have happened had Travis Hitt not been inviting. Mm-hmm. None of that would have happened had Travis Hitt not been the leader that we did not know that we needed him to be. I spoke about spiritual maturity, and this is the last point of today. You want to, actually, I'm going to say that for tomorrow's episode. This episode's already been kind of heavy. And I've made a couple points. So tomorrow we're going to talk about our walk with God. And I had a conversation with an individual, and we were talking about the tithing thing. Mm-hmm. And it was.
Are we going down this road, or are we going to save it for tomorrow?
No, we're going to save it for tomorrow. It was eye-opening for him. Uh-huh. Because he only saw tithing through his lens. And I had to explain to him, okay, I hear where you're coming from, but not everyone is where you are at. Right. Okay. So I need you to take off your lens a little bit and look at it from someone else's point of view. And, you know, it's interesting because How many times do we do that? We give, so here we go, right? If you're a coach, no, Matt, I'm not going down the road. I'm not going down the road tomorrow, brother. If you're a coach, 90% of what you do as a coach is help that individual figure out what they need to figure out. Mm-hmm. Okay?
It's expanding their mindset.
Correct. Not telling them what to do, not forcing your lens on them. Okay? You have to guide people by letting them go through it and letting them come up with their own ideas. How they can maybe, that's what I'm looking for. Like when you have smudges on a lens, and you kind of you go to clean the lens so they can see through it better, right? But you have to let them do that. They have to get the smudges off, right? Your job is not to go in there and change their lens, maybe cut the lens or cut the glass or whatever it is, so they see it your way. I don't need you to see it my way. I need you to see it the way you need to see it so you can grow. Because if I just tell you this is how you need to think, then it's not really how you are deciding to think. You're doing what you're told. You're not growing under yourself. Oh my goodness, are you ready for this? How many of you do this with your kids? How many of you tell your kids how to think instead of teaching them how to think for themselves?
Where's the lesson?
Seriously. Like, don't get me wrong. Guide and encourage. Absolutely, right? Let them decide. And here we go, right? And if they make the wrong decision, depending on the severity, let them make the wrong decision.
So
let them learn.
This reminds me of a message that I heard at one of my old churches. He had a giant picture of Jesus on this board. Mm-hmm. And he was walking through stories of his life and how it was about how we have to walk out our faith. Mm-hmm. And we have to walk out being righteous in God's eyes, and what that means to other people, because other people are always watching. Always watching. And so this big picture of Christ in every story, it was like, oh, I was working at this restaurant and, everybody would do, take a salad or something, and that's stealing. So when I did it, and I'm a professed Christian, everybody knew I was a Christian, it would distort this image of Christ. So by the end of it, this image of Christ was like, how you can do all those like weird effects and stuff. Yeah. So every piece of Christ was distorted.
That is so good.
Right. And so how do you undistort that for somebody? Because everybody's looking through this distorted lens of Christ because of you or me or this other person. How do we help them undistort that? Well, I think we have to walk in humility and honestly say like, hey, I'm not perfect. I am not Christ. I am not perfect. I make mistakes, and knowing like, hey, you know what? I want to pay for this salad that I took because that's the right thing to do. And going back and sharing that with that person so that manager was like, oh, well, thank you. Like,
absolutely.
That undistorted a little bit of Christ in their life.
Absolutely. Or if you're going to, and here we go, to take it a step further, maybe ask for permission, right? Because maybe in a restaurant, maybe that's the way that the manager helps takes care of his staff, right? He makes sure that they get salad.
Sure.
But ask for permission, not for forgiveness. It's funny because I think a lot of people flip that now. Oh, I'm not going to ask for permission. I'll ask for forgiveness.
Right.
And in doing so, you're still breaking the rules. Like, you're consciously breaking the rules. And now take that a step further. How have you, as someone who professes that they're a Christian, how have you distorted the view now for someone else?
Absolutely.
It's funny because, and I'm not going to interrupt you by reading all the comments, but if you're listening, if you're watching this, you need to read the comments and understand that Lindsay and I are not the only people who are thinking this way. Look at what, so bro, Sean, I need you to like comment as yourself, my man, because people don't know who the woodworking is. They don't know that it's you, or somehow say pie woodworking / Sean. It's me, Sean. Right? Introduce yourself. Oh, there we go. Just introduce yourself. I love that you're using your business page. I really do. But introduce yourself. But listen to what Matt's saying. Read what Amber's saying. Like, there's people that are striving for this. Now, what we're saying is we understand that you're not going to be perfect, right? And yes, at some point in time, you're going to trip up. And is it going to distort the lens? Yes. But are you at least striving to be honorable, right? Are you working towards maybe slowing down, not doing so many knee-jerk reactions, but actually creating responses? Right? How are you going to be, how are you going to live your life where it attracts other people to the body of Christ? And not just in your work environment. How are you going to do it in your household? And the tone change that you're hearing right now is me kind of calling out myself. And not kind of, is me calling out myself. Granted, some kids need discipline. You got to keep them on the straight and narrow, right? But when you discipline, are you disciplining in love or are you disciplining in anger?
Right. So,
hey, there's Sean.
That actually brings up a great Bible verse that really hit me hard this past couple weeks. It's in Galatians 5, and I pulled it up just so I could read it. Most people know the verse, Galatians 5:22. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, or patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. That's a lot of what people focus on. Mm-hmm. But if you look at the verses before it, mm-hmm. this is what was like, ooh, oh, that hurt.
Right.
And there was, I don't remember what version I read, but it was like when we give into our flesh, mm-hmm. it's obvious because there's all these things. And it talks about, I mean, there's some that are like huge, like idolatry and witchcraft, but there's others that we do on a more daily basis, like hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambition, dissensions, envy, drunkenness, and things like that. Like there's others in there that you can go read. I just didn't want to say them on camera.
Thank you for that, because I know where you're reading right now. I'm like, how many things is she gonna list out?
I know, right? And it's like, oh wow, like I have a choice every time I'm every decision I make or every word that comes out of my mouth. Am I going to say that out of the fruit of the Spirit, or am I going to say that out of the flesh?
Right.
Am I going to be saying this in love, or am I going to be saying this in anger?
There you go. Or if you're in freedom right now, the tree of life or the tree of good and evil. Mm-hmm. You know, that was good. We're going to end on that today. So this one, this episode obviously was not as happy and laughy, and you know, this one was a bit more serious. Use this episode. If this episode spoke to you and you're like, you want to know what, this episode could help someone else, this is the episode to share. Okay? If you are needing, if you think this episode could help someone's walk, this is the episode to share. Okay? If you are thinking this is the, you know, what you guys talked about, someone else needs to hear this. Someone else needs to hear, you know, what you and Lindsay talked about during this episode. This is the one to share, because this is the episode that could possibly open the door to getting them in the room. Okay. Ready? We're going to reset. All right, here we go. Energy coming back online, and it is Monday. We're going to have another post today in the Coffee and Cookies Morning Show talking about the big three. I want you to share your big three for the week. We're about to have our level 10 meeting right after the show, so I'll be dropping my big three after we have that level 10 meeting. Get it done. Get it done. Your people need you, okay? We need you to succeed. We do. And when I say we, I'm talking about the people in your life. I'm talking about your family, your friends. This state, this country needs you to succeed. So succeed today. Succeed this week. Get your big 3 down. Right as soon as I publish that post, I'm going to want you to share your big 3. I want to celebrate with you. Now remember, you're going to put in your big 3, and then what's your reward? Okay? We missed my big 3 by $200 last week. Oh, so close. So close. So my goal is, again, to have those same big 3, but make that $200 happen. It will. It absolutely will. So know that we love you guys in the comments. Thank you guys for liking the video. It means so much to us that you guys join us here in the morning. You guys that join us here in the morning and that are in the comments that like these videos, you guys are becoming part of our extended family, right? You guys are becoming part of our family of choice. And a lot of you already are a family of choice. So thank you for that, because we get to do life with you, right? So thank you guys for joining us in the morning. Nope, not going to go down that way.
We're already on the end.
We're already
closing.
over.
Like,
we are closing. We are closing. I got to get better at that. About just take that and pop it over there. So know that we love you guys. We hope you guys have a great day. We're going to see you guys tomorrow morning. Make sure that you
rise up,
crush it.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.